Hey everybody. Apologies for this giant bug bite I've got on my face, but I just got done watching the One Piece live, live action IRL adaptation, and I've watched a whole bunch of reviews, and I've just been formulating my thoughts, because it was good. It was good, and I'm grateful. I'm very grateful that we have it. I'm very grateful that we have it, and I'm excited to see where it goes. It's really cool. I mean, I think it'll be something really cool as it continues to develop. In the same way that I think Game of Thrones was really cool. And I guess I want to make this because I would hope that there ends up being a better understanding for the producers, the writers, the actors, as well as the community, so that the mistakes of, the last season of Game of Thrones aren't repeated as we're walking down this trail of things are changing, yeah? And I think they already took the first step by, obviously the promise wasn't that it was going to be a one-to-one adaptation, that it was going to be a new thing, but that it wanted to keep, that it was based off of this original source material. I think that what I'm seeing across all of the reviews, right? And I'm going to tell you my thoughts through this this sort of formulation, I think, of witnessing what the community's been talking about. Because there's some people that are talking about how, yes, they like it, and yet there's things that are different. There's different disappointments, different praises and joys in it. And I think that I have figured out what in the world it is that's really separating the joy from the disappointment in a lot of these moments, and why, I see a lot of the regular One Piece manga and anime reviewers, but mostly the manga reviewers is who I keep up with. Everybody's talking about how, yes, they liked it, but there are, it's more of there is real criticism to be had if you're looking at it through the lens of the original. And yet it is, it was always intended, and it is something completely new, which adds a different twist to it. So then the question becomes, what is it that they were trying to keep from the original and taking into this new story and new form, right? Because I think that's where you get crazy reviews like the one that I just saw somebody posted about IGN, saying that there was too much of the... Sorry, there's a bug on my phone. There's too much of the original source material in this new adaptation, which sounds like a crazy, it's like, this is an adaptation. What do you mean there's too much of the original content? But it sounds like an insane criticism, but I want to tell you why I think it's actually a very brilliant criticism, and why I believe that they actually didn't mean any harm by it. They didn't mean anything. They were just talking about the general truth of what they were seeing. And it's, honestly, I think that I agree with that sort of sentiment that they're bringing to the table, where they're essentially saying it was really good. It was really good. It's just that it's still got the original story essentially as it's a weight dragging the heels of this new story, of this new adventure, of this new life that this medium is lending a new creation to, One Piece. Sorry, I ran out of storage there for a second. Yeah, so I think I agree with that IGN review, simply because of the fact that, yes, I think that what I've narrowed it down to is a message versus a feeling. Now, the adaptation, I believe, is staying true to the feeling. That's what they mean whenever they're saying they're trying to stay true to it. Because everybody keeps talking about this idea of the adaptation staying true in one aspect, but also not being true in another aspect whenever they talk about how it feels off. And I think I figured out what it is. Because the adaptation did come into it saying, we're going to be a new thing. It's going to be a new thing. But guess what didn't change? The character designs, the wacky nature, the serious consequences, the blood and gore, and just the world, the feeling of it, right? It's this special surreal genre that Oda has crafted out for himself in its fantastical, toony kind of way, you know? Totally caricature, cartoony, staying true to that original, to those sort of ideas, right? Those ideals. That's the feeling, the genre, essentially, that's being kept together, I believe, in this adaptation. Whereas the message has shifted. And I think that's important to recognize, to get acquainted with, to accept, you know, and to love. If you're gonna love this adaptation, is that the message has shifted. There's new vision being brought into this, and it's a new story. It's not the same story anymore. It doesn't have the same story beats. It doesn't have the same meaning behind every single action, you know? If anybody knows One Piece, they know how potent and how intertwined the story is, how inseparable One Piece is from the other. There you go, one pun intended, maybe, I don't know. But it's all one piece. There you go, that one was intended. It's all one cohesive piece in Oda's storytelling, in Oda's vision. And the parts that aren't become so inexplicably intertwined, like the supernovas, like the warlords, you know, that now at this point in the story, there is no time before them, and they're inexplicably intertwined to, I'm sure, the plans that Oda had since the beginning, you know. They're fulfilling purposes that I know that Oda had outlined even before, and knew that he would create something for later, or maybe he adapted something in a different way. Regardless, right? There's a core message and a core theme and a core writing style, a core thought experiment, methodology, exploration that's happening in the story of One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. Yes? And that is the thing that is getting lost in translation, as the live action has openly admitted to and prepared us for, in saying that it was not going to be the same story. It was going to be its own new thing, but staying true to the vision, right? And so the vision, I believe, for them was the feeling. You know, I would like to liken this to music, where, you know, there's lots of ways to tell a love story, you know? It could be a folk song, it can be a rap song, it can be anything, anyway, you know, techno pop, you know, grunge, it can be there's lots of ways to spin it, man. There's lots of ways to spin it, but it won't all feel the same. It won't all feel the same. And it'll have different stylistic choices. And I think that's exactly what's happening here, where it's not the same message. You can tell the same message through different feelings, and you can also tell different messages through the same feeling, right? Grunge music isn't all about love, you know. Sometimes you can think of it that way, but you know, you can have a different message, but delivered through the same feelings, right? And I believe that that's what's happening in the live action adaptation of One Piece that Netflix is creating. And that's what, you know, it is a beautiful creation as to what they've created. It's beautiful. It's beautiful in all its glory, whenever it is just that. A new story, a new message being told in the same genre, in the same feeling as the original One Piece by Eiichiro Oda created, right? As the original was. And I think that as long as you realize that this is a new thing, this is something birthed from that realm, from the feeling, at least, from the feeling that Oda created, beyond just his story, right? The feeling that he's created in the media, the aesthetic of it, that you can enjoy this story for everything that it's worth. As someone that loves the original, I absolutely love the story, and I love the feeling too, right? Like, that's why I like the live action. But I absolutely love the message and the story of the original, and that is definitely the thing that hinders me sometimes, and I'll catch myself whenever I think about it too hard, right? I'll be like, oh, but that's not how that character would be, or oh, that's really weird they didn't do that, or oh, that's really weird that they did do that, you know? Just different aspects that I'm walking in there with an expectation of, oh, just, this new individual entity, right? Person being presented to me through story, right? Has the same name and looks the same as someone else that I know, and they're not that. And that can be really upsetting. That can feel kind of painful. It feels there's like a slow burn aspect there that I did feel as I was watching the live action, but that I didn't quite understand because it is good. It's a good story, and I was captivated. I felt great. There's lots of moments that did give me that same joy, the same interaction that I had with the original story. I found that same joy and camaraderie and interaction with this new story, in small moments. Like whenever the crew would get together and randomly, Luffy's actor would do something that really brought that, that childlike wonder, like, oh, okay, like, you shouldn't be doing something like that, but there you go, you're doing it, and it's great, Or, the whole crew getting Zoro to loosen up, from whatever character he's in, right? Regardless of which one we're talking about, right? um, Yes, things like that. Buggy getting beat on, no matter what kind of person he is. Anyway, I think this is the grand thing, is that this is a different message told through the same genre, the same feeling, the same energy, the same world kind of, same feeling. They're trying to go for the same feeling. And I do think the message was inherently important to that in the original series. And that's why I think the original series is a masterpiece. And yet, I don't believe that that doesn't mean that something good can be made from either part, I don't know if I would still love Eiichiro Oda's story in just a novel format. But just because I've never had to go through it that way. But I'm sure, you know what? There's the Ace light novel that lots of people love. I haven't gotten to yet, just because I'm not huge, just words on a page reader. But one day I'll get to it, I'm sure. So yeah, I think that that's something that's very strong in him, that I'm sure I would love even without the beautiful aesthetics that he's created in the world that he's built, visually and artistically, and in a feeling beyond just the message. And I think that I do love recognizing that there's a question for me in that, even though I still believe I'd still love it, there's a question for me. It's like, oh, there's still something of value in that. There's still something of complete value in that world and that feeling and the aesthetics that he's built, that I think the live action is taking full advantage of and doing really well, and adapting and keeping alive in a new spirit. So I wanted to wrap this by just saying that I understand the IGN. I hope maybe I've brought you guys to understand it a bit more, because they're saying, hey, the original source material is in your way. And I would agree. I would say that is, if you were going to make a one-to-one adaptation, you were going to make a one-to-one adaptation, right? And then we'd be nitpicking you with all of the justification. But you didn't. You're not doing that. That's not what Netflix set out to do. And so I think that at that point, it's like, all right, recognize that this is not, this isn't Monkey D. Luffy that I know. This is something new entirely. It's not the same meaning. You can't force that depth of meaning, just to get, a couple seconds of us maybe going, oh man, we remember that, that's so cool. But then have like a pain in the back of our minds because it's just not the same. It's not the same. So it's like, okay, cool. Keep rocking on the genre. Keep rocking on these beautiful characters, the beautiful world you've cultivated, and let it be something different. Let it just be something different. It doesn't have to force its way into all of our old memories and try to call up that nostalgia. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that, because it's just gonna hurt you in the end. I feel like, Then at that point, I do think you run into the trouble of the Game of Thrones problem, right? Where it's like, oh, that's not it. That's not what we came here for. It's like, no, you know what? It's very clear that this is a different thing. So I keep running out of memory, but yeah, these are all new characters. This is an all new experience. This is a whole new dimension. You can think of it if you want to be, that way about it. It's a whole new dimension, whole new reality we're stepping into with the live action. And I think that we get to explore it and enjoy it and see what it looks like, This is kind of like I don't want to say it like that, but it's kind of like, it gets to be kind of like a fanfic kind of version created, which I think that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful that we have a community that's strong where we're able to do things like that, and it can be big, it can be monumental, That's the beautiful seismic impact that things like Minecraft and Undertale, those are things that come to my mind, right? But that have had crazy impacts like that, where just community-driven content has all of a sudden built an entire new way for it. And I think the same can be said for One Piece and its reviewer class here in the YouTube, and yeah, now this live action. So, and of course all the the different plays, theaters, on ices, all that stuff. There's festivals, spectacles. There's cool stuff. So. This is just another one of those. Maybe in a new form, in a new way. But hey, let the show go on. Don't hold it to anything. Let it be its new thing. Let's rock to this genre, man. Like, I'm cool. Let's hear this message. Oda's the one that's gonna make the beautiful message over in the other one. All right, like, I'm down to hear what the cool message. The voices that were birthed from that love that we have over Oda's creation. I'm grateful and excited to see what that's like. So that's where we're here at. This is our Dragon Ball Super, our our Boruto. Like, that's what's happening right now. It feels like. So here we go. Enjoy, everybody. I hope that helps maybe you guys too in figuring out your feelings on it, because I know that anybody who's huge fan of the original is going to be feeling that sort of. Yeah, it's good, but it's also it's like it's not. it's like it's not. So let's let it be something different, but in that same energy, that same feeling, and we'll let Oda deliver the message, man. That we'll stay tuned to both. How about that? All right, take care, everybody. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed. Peace. Love you.